name is BenFlyingRetro, and I'm embarking on a quest to purchase every classic GI Joe comic from the original 80s and 90s Marvel run. Warning. Hunting down individual issues from every corner of the globe in whatever order the universe decides to give me. Join me and my pal Steve every week as we discuss my latest find. Welcome to Chasing Joe. Chasing Joe. Ho, 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 ho. It's Chasing Joe. I'm BenFlyingRetro. I'm wearing what is this? A Santa hat. I've got a genuine Mickey Mouse Christmas jumper from like the early 1990s. I'm feeling festive. Who are you?
It's Chubb, and it's rubbing off on me, dude. You're bringing it strong on this episode.
Dude,
we're definitely into the festive month.
Look, I don't want to give too much away, but I was looking for my ski goggles, and I was going to come to you in full, like, Arctic gear. So, just be thankful I didn't find my ski goggles.
Are you likely to see snow this year?
We've seen it.
Has it arrived?
It did not settle. It rarely settles. That's the issue we have.
Okay.
But it
was a very random snow season in the UK when I was there in, I think, 2013. My brother and I, we strapped into some boards and we went to the local park, and we could slide down. Yeah.
Did you break out your toys?
Nah. Well, no. He had a Lego AT-AT. We set that up in the garden. But
amazing. When it snows and you just grab your AT-AT. Yes.
Snow speeder. Gotta.
You have to. It's just a rule.
Use your harpoons and tow cables. Go for the legs.
It's just like you'd get the photos would always look awful. But yeah, from a play point of view. I have a question
about your sweater, Ben. Was that a thrift store find or a vintage store find? Or was that your actual Mickey Mouse sweater from the 90s?
I wish it was. This is like from a vintage shop in Bristol.
Right.
And probably cost an annoying amount of money. It was probably like 30 quid.
Then it was a gift, I presume.
No, I bought it for myself.
Okay, so you're just forgetting the number because you put it out of your mind. It's like, this thing would be...
Yeah, no, it was a while back, but I kind of don't like ironic Christmas jumpers from H&M or Zara. At least this was from the 90s.
So it was ironic then. Now it's just got the veneer of cool because it's old. No, I can appreciate that.
I genuinely like it as well. This is what I've been wearing today, so... Yeah.
A little bit counterculture for you, Ben. The guy who's normally into cool brands. Now all of a sudden you're doing the House of Mouse.
This guy, cool brands.
Atari and Indiana Jones. And now you're wearing Mickey Mouse. Goodness me.
Look,
there's some irony there.
No, look, a Christmas jumper is a Christmas jumper.
But you wouldn't tattoo a Mickey Mouse on yourself, would you?
Look, don't rule anything
Challenge
out.
accepted. Oh, shit.
Jeez. I just undo this, it'd be a big Mickey. Oof. Dude, where are you? Are you in Cape Town?
No, not yet. Ben, you have been counting this down a lot more fervently than me.
Dude, I know what it means to you.
The very next session we record, I will be in Cape Town trying to schedule a recording in the middle of the day in South African time. I think we might have to take a look at our recording schedule.
South Africa and the UK, we're totally in line, aren't we? That's what I always think.
You guys have that annoying thing called daylight savings. So sometimes you're 2 hours behind, sometimes you're only 1 hour behind.
The great white sharks, I just don't know why they don't swim up, because it could so easily happen. Same water temp.
Great white sharks are being hunted by packs of killer whales where I'm from. Can you believe that?
I can. Killer whales are savages. The postman's here, by the way.
Driven crazy. Oh, my goodness. Again, 2 weeks in a row.
Sorry, guys. I know.
It's that time of day. With stunning efficiency, Ben is back from seeing to the postie.
I'm sorry, guys, but I can't risk him ringing and letting comics go. You know?
He wouldn't just leave it on the doorstep.
He could do. He may do. He's a bit of a wizard, so who knows?
Then why doesn't it make it magically appear in your living room?
I am trying to calm down on buying the comics. I'm no longer chasing it. I'm like ahead of it, and it's chasing me. Like, that's what it feels like. I forgot to tell everyone why we're here. We're here because we are stuck in 1982 and 1994. We can't get out. It doesn't matter how many DeLoreans or hoverboards or time cops. We are just stuck in the Harmerverse, and there's certainly worse places to be stuck. And
it's Harmer time.
This week is a good one, guys. A really good one.
Do tell, Ben. Without further ado.
Here it is, guys. Let's get into this.
Now, for anyone wondering, this isn't what the postie just handed you. This isn't sight unseen.
Do you have this issue? Do you have this issue?
To hand? No.
Shame.
Wait, what issue are we talking about, Ben? Come on.
Shame, shame. Know your name. Ooh. Hang on.
There are multiple packages flipping out of this package. And in a manila envelope, he reveals
Merry Christmas.
Special Missions Issue 20. All out Arctic action. It's entitled Snowblind?
Wow. Dude, this is the best thing I've ever seen. This came out December 6th, 1988. It has an April cover date on it. This was from when I bought all 28, didn't I, together. So this is a £1.60 book. I mean, wow, just look at it. I mean, I'm picking these at random, and I just went into my bin of special missions, and wow, out came this. Now, it's a cold winter's evening. It's Christmas night. You've picked up your favourite comic in 1988, and you're heading for the multiplex. What do you think you go and see, S-Jubs? It's a new segment of the show. Now, I can tell you, you could have seen Bill Murray in Scrooged. You could have maybe skipped that, and you could have gone to the other cinema. You could have seen Twins, or you could have seen Naked Gun, Rain Man, or my personal favourite, Tequila Sunrise with Mel Gibson and Kurt Russell, Michelle Pfeiffer. Woo!
All right, settle down.
I mean, look, I would have loved to have sat down, read this in a cafe, and then gone to have seen Tequila Sunrise in 1988. I don't know what I was doing in 1988. I would have been 7. What were you doing?
Not fully cognizant just yet. I was 4, maybe 3.
I love that.
I don't know. You don't really start making the serious memories until 4 or 5, I think.
Do you think? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what.
For instance, I know my first film that I ever saw in cinemas, and I know the year that I saw it. It was 1989. It was License to Kill.
Wow, that's. I mean, obviously it's specific, but that interests me because that was James Bond's first 15 certificate.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I suppose like a drug deal does fall into like a mincer.
Yeah. So that's Timothy. That's Timothy Dalton.
Bond.
That was their kind of foray into making a more adult, violent Bond film.
I'll say. I mean, the film prior to that,
Living Daylights. Oh,
absolute banger!
Daylights. What a tune!
And what an introduction!
Yeah,
that is strong. Rewatch Dalton's introduction into the franchise.
I like Dalton.
It's one of the greatest. All the hairs are standing on end. Oh, God,
he goes down like a wintry scene on a cello case.
Oh yeah, true. Well, I'm talking specifically the opening credit sequence set on the Rock of Gibraltar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was a
strong.
big fan of Dalton. He was almost the serious before everyone else was ready for everything to become serious.
Yeah.
In the post-Bourne world. But look, we got
definitely trying
about.
a pivot after Roger Moore. And I know you're a Moore fan. He's your boy, but
he is my boy. And look, Snowjob's doing his best Roger impression right here. I mean, if this cover doesn't pump your nads, I just don't know how to help you, S-Jubs. I really don't.
Snowjob. My goodness, what a code name. But he is tossing like a bomb bag of some kind. There must be a lit fuse in there because it's got this trail of white smoke flying off of it.
My note says, that ain't his lunch in that satchel, S-Jubs. That is C4.
Well, the Ice Viper's expression tells the tale. He's like,
I know.
Oh, shit.
He's rethinking his entire life and career in that moment. Yeah, the skis he's got as well. You would not find skis like that on today's slopes. You wouldn't find those in Aspen. Back then, skis were so big and long, and they're like straight as arrows. Now they're, from what I can see, is they're short and they're kind of like carving skis.
Well, park skis are short and they're sort of, I don't know the technical term, but they're sort of front and back are both the same curve. So you can go down backwards, forwards, there's nothing. But these are more like cross-country skis, which are still fairly long.
Yeah, they don't look like they come up at the back though, S-Jubs.
No, they're straight. Yeah, you're right. They're for like backcountry, I forget the term, but like if you are just
drawing this.
This is a Ron Wagner.
Yeah, well, Wagner has nailed because he looks like a legitimate, like Olympic skier. His knee position, you could tie a belt around those calves. Like he's got perfect form.
Got his hood down and showing off his lovely locks. I kind of wish the figure had drawn. Oh, he's stunning. But don't you wish that the figure had his hood off? Like, they get so much more character from Snowjob.
Oh, yeah. Look at the
with that luscious locks of red hair.
Oof. And the fact that he is not looking at them at all. This is very much a, like...
handing it off.
Yeah, he knows they're there. He doesn't need to look. He's focused on... I mean, he's in the air there. It's just incredible.
It's far more exciting
action.
It's far more exciting than the way it's handled in the issue, which happens kind of almost off panel. It's like the Cobras are hanging out. They hear a thunk and they see the charge magnetically attached to the hull. This is like he is hand delivering this smoking bomb. Oh, it's a terrific cover. But it's time for a smell test, isn't it?
It's time for the smell test, and also we need to catch up on we need to do the cost calculations.
Just another £1.60 onto the pile.
Yeah, well, maths will happen. Hang on.
It does
so at episode 13, I've got 13 books, and so far I have spent a whopping £75.64, equates to 96 dollaroos. And that is including 3 extremely generous donations. So there we have it.
We're bringing the per episode spend down.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah. No, it's good. Congrats, Ben.
Do you know what I did then? Is I actually smelt it, but I tasted, I breathed it in with my mouth.
Ooh.
A real mouth breather.
Circular breathing going.
As they'd say in Stranger Things. I tried circular breathing. When I was living in Oz, I got into the didgeridoo. Or the yadaki, as Aboriginals call it. And I spent some time with an Aboriginal tribe in Arnhem Land, and they chopped down like a yadaki tree, and they carved me my own didgeridoo. So I was like, okay, I've got to nail this circular breathing. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. I've got to breathe in through my nose and exhale through my mouth at the same time. Weird. But there you go.
Time well spent then.
Yeah. Just a detour there of madness. I'm actually I don't know if it's because I'm surrounded in Christmas and everything that I'm wearing has been in the Christmas box, but I'm getting like baubles.
Oh, yes.
Like baubles from boxes in your attic or your loft or your basement. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Oh, my days. Look at this. Okay, this book, is dripping in atmosphere from page 1. I was so excited reading this last night, S-Jubs.
Has a C-130 ever looked better?
I can hear it. That's the thing. When I'm reading it, like you can hear the engines of the C-130. You can hear the wind. You can feel the cold. It's just such a great opener. There's some, Russian convoy. It's over the frozen Bering Strait between Alaska and the USSR. Now, I only realised from watching Stranger Things Series 4 how close Alaska and Russia are. And now I kind of understand the Cold War. I mean, if you arc your back, it's a stone's throw, S-Jubs.
Truth. And that is exactly why there is a presence of Russian and American military. Cobra is trying to sow the seeds of war and dissent between them by having a terrordrome pumping paranoia waves both sides of the border. But the October Guard is onto them. So they send up an armored convoy to look for the source of these waves. And they get jumped by 5 Cobra Wolves. Fortunately, GI Joe intervene with the Snowcat and a joint mission, an impromptu joint mission between the October Guard and GI Joe succeeds in taking out the Wolves and the Terrordrome.
Dude, that was a really nice wintry synopsis. There's another delivery. Dude, you just got to drop that, bro. You just going to have to drop it.
Drop it and go, dude. Wizard man.
Just drop it, bro. That's all good. Thanks. No? You drop it?
You need to sign something?
I don't know, dude. It's DPD.
Oh,
cheers, dude.
Don't worry. I can snip, or not.
Yeah, he's dropped. Sweet as. Sorry, guys. This is no show, is it? I'm just being like, it's Christmas. The deliveries are rife.
There you go.
So my notes for this issue it's a game of Arctic chess. It's almost like battleships on snow. And it's taken very seriously. Lots of serious dialogue. And I am all here for that. I enjoyed the heck out of this issue.
I'd say you're right on the maritime element, but because it takes place in a blizzard, like a complete whiteout condition, and everyone is using like infrared to basically track their targets, heat signatures, and sophisticated equipment, no visual identification.
That becomes
I'm thinking this has a lot more in common with like submarine warfare.
I've got submarine in my notes as well.
Very good.
And that storm is like a character in this book. It's because it doesn't just hit right away. It's approaching and it's like looming. And Wild Bill and Slipstream, they're like, it's coming. We got to be out before it hits. And also Wild Bill and Slipstream on page 2, lovely panel with them. They've got their tashes out. They look like flyboys that are going back to base for tea and medals. Just a great pair.
Beautiful.
It's just, all of this is just so exciting. I love the prep. You got the Snowcat there, and then you flip to the Wolf, and you've got the Techno Viper in the back seat, and just that lovely close-up of him. I've never seen a Techno Viper drawn that close, actually. And it's just very serious. They've got the tarps. They take all the tarps off in unison, and they just go to town.
Filmic. We start right on Techno Viper's eyes, and the camera slowly tracks back to reveal the wolf behind the top.
When the wolf came out?
1987.
Dude, why? Not only was this missing from my collection, but it's unusual that it's missing because it would have been a really nice price point toy.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why, Ben. It's because they sent your wolf to Johannesburg, where a 6-year-old Stephen on family vacation bought it. Because I got an Action Force Cobra Wolf.
I would have
in the lead up to Christmas of 1992, as late as that, I bought in a toy shop in Johannesburg a Action Force Cobra Wolf, complete with Ice Viper. And may I just say, it was an early vehicle for me, and I got this comic book shortly thereafter. It was one of a handful of my earliest GI Joe reads, and it just read like an instruction manual for the toy.
Okay.
Like this book was your key to how to play with a Cobra Wolf.
Yes.
Because the amount of like technical detail you can glean from this book is astounding. Just the way heat signatures work and the way missiles can home in on things. There's a lot of dense technical stuff in this book. And as a child, I was just decoding this. I was gobbling it up, like every little nugget of information I was integrating into my play. I must have played out this scenario about a dozen times.
I find it maybe even mysterious that I didn't have a couple of these. I just find that strange why it wasn't on my radar. And a uniquely molded fig driver, not just a blue shirt with some ruffles. Quite an interesting fig, a detachable helmet.
Yeah,
which is
helmet
unusual,
pulls away.
I would say.
On a Cobra figure, sure. And the fact that it pulls away and you just greeted with a balaclava head, which for me and my buddies at playtime meant that this guy was our snow ninja.
Do you know what? I actually prefer I don't know if it's because it's the digital screen, but my eyes, his face covering is more of a sort of burnt orange type color,
right?
In the comic, which I love.
They did do that in the comic. The colorist, is
more than the
orange,
the deep red.
But deep red is unmistakably Cobra.
Yeah, I know, and it would have been unusual.
He's not set in the kind of the gray of the Snow Serpent. He is in a pure white uniform, so that's kind of coded as a Joe thing. So I'm glad they did give him the Cobra symbol and the red balaclava, because he needed to be a little bit jilted. He can't quite rock the same white as a Snow Job or a Sub-Zero. Speaking of which, I didn't have Snow Job and I didn't have the Snow Cat, but what I did have was Avalanche, and I had
we all had
Tiger. Common as. I had a Tiger Sting, which is the Tiger Force Vamp,
right?
And I had Iceberg and Sub-Zero, and I don't know how I did it, but I have distinct memories of being able to jam all three of them into that cab to try and emulate the events of this book.
Wow. Now, well, before we get to the Snowcat, because I was interested in the Ice Viper, I was like, to the file card. So I just want to read out his file card very quickly. Ice Vipers are the mechanized branch of the Snow Serpent, both of which must first qualify as Cobra Eels. They must take the additional training of Techno Vipers and be prepared to service and repair their own vehicles in hostile Arctic environments. Ice Vipers are fed a special high-fat diet to help retain body heat and have their faces depilated to prevent frost from their breath icing up on their beards. Incredible file card. From a play point of view, the hierarchy that they have to be eels first, then do Techno Viper training.
All of a sudden, it seems strange to me that the Techno Viper is in charge of the Ice Viper. It should be the other way around.
Exactly, because the way he's talking, I was like, hang on, he feels like in charge here. Whereas he hasn't done his training yet. I mean, I just thought that was a really... The high-fat diet is incredible.
Try and explain getting your face depilated to a 7-year-old.
Lasered?
I don't know. Just hair removal is what I imagine that to be. Whether it's
because they're worried
laser,
about frostbite.
Bizarre.
They got a face covering. Also,
is that a thing? Like, surely having a dense beard is helpful to keeping your face warm.
Snow Job swears by it.
You bet.
But also, he's spending most of his time in that lovely, cozy cockpit with the heating on full. Or maybe the heating's not on full if he's worried about heat signatures. But a great
it's
file
the TIE
cast.
Fighter situation. Like, Cobra doesn't... They skimp on, like, the mod cons. Make it as bare bones as possible. So maybe it's not heated at all.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. I mean, speaking of cockpits, though, Snowcat cockpit is glorious, and there's just so much good stuff of them in it in this issue. So much good, like, techno babble, the cat and mouse of what's going on, and a lot of seeing those ski missiles from both the Snowcat and the Wolf in action.
So I tell you something that's astonishing that I did as a child, and I'm reminded when I did the reread that I did it as a child because I did it again, was I was keeping score of how many missiles each Wolf had shot and how many missiles they had remaining, and it all checks out.
Oh, that's great. Well, how many have they got?
They've got 4 of the red missiles and then 2 ski missiles each.
And the Snowcat's got 2 as well. So
yep. And the Snowcat's got 4 missiles. So these are quite close in parity in terms of armament, except the Wolf has got twin guns. That's the one thing that I wish the Snowcat had. It might have hurt the lines a bit, but like to not have a gun as like a backup, big mistake.
I think you've discussed that on one of your flagship episodes.
But you bet.
The ski missile is again very submarine-y. It feels like a torpedo. I mean, missiles can fly.
They can kind of be programmed, and they make them do fun things in the episode.
Okay, so is that the gains? Is that what you're getting from a missile ski?
The fact that you're able to fool another craft's sort of heat sensors into thinking that those are in fact wolves. The fact that they can perhaps be remote controlled a little bit, they can behave more like a vehicle than a projectile. That's probably the advantage of a ski-pedo. We're seeing it playing out before our very eyes. I kind of wish I had this point in my back burner when we discussed the Snowcat, because we kind of drew a blank. Like, why do you have something like a ski-pedo? This is why.
Ski-pedo. I just feel like if you're in there and you hit launch, you're very happy when it's a few meters away from you and it's hit the snow and it's skiing and it's going. It just feels like it could go so horribly wrong. It's a missile on a ski. Mm-hmm. It's wild.
It better be cruising over some very flat tundra.
You want fresh virgin snow. You don't hit a rock.
Well, fresh virgin snow that isn't at all lumpy. No, like
I'm getting a lot of
drifts.
I'm thinking, did you say something about in your episode on the Snowcat of like you were always confused why it didn't just have tracks on the front and it's got wheels and you're just like they're going to be useless in snow?
Afraid so, yeah.
And I kind of felt like here when they're out of control, it's
the Wolf definitely one-ups the Snowcat in this kind of environment by being dedicated. It's got skis in the front, tracks in the back, and you know what? Something you wouldn't be familiar with if you never played with the toy. The tracks in the back of the Wolf can flip up so that it's got ski. So it becomes like a rocket propelled or jet propelled, like ski, like land skimmer.
That's so cool.
Gives me big snow speeder vibes with the seating front and back, and the back guy has access to a cannon. In the snow speeder, it would be the harpoon gun.
It is joyous that that you can get 2 in there of a vehicle of that size.
Are so good. It's got like ribbed seating, so sort of like black padded seating. The guy in the top has got a single joystick. The guy driving has got 2 joysticks, and both of them have screens with stickers. Ooh,
I am getting one. Getting one.
Christmas 2024.
Yes, we're cutting it close, but it's happening. It looks so fun.
It's great. But can we have a moment for possibly the greatest delivery system. The launch of the Snowcat out of the back of the C-130, using that kind of design. pallet system with the parachute at the back. Yeah. I mean, I've been informed by servicemen that they never deliver equipment like that with the occupants inside. And to that, I just say, no fun, dude. Come on, this is G.I. Joe.
Yeah, no, I just think the way it's been drawn, I hear it, I see it, it's cinematic, it's got heft and weight and mass. He's nailing the toy. It's got all the decals, the stickers, the winch at the front. And I have to say, those front wheels look hefty there. They don't look, they're wide and tracked. So
the vehicle's upscaled a little bit.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Only a little bit to bring it in line with like a big truck. It's not gargantuan. It's just a big truck. The toy is kind of chibi. This is the size that a Snowcat would really be.
Yeah. This is an early toy for me in my play, and so much nostalgia.
You had the Snowcat, not the Tiger Cat.
Oh,
Did you have both?
Yeah. No, I never. Oh, geez. The Tiger Cat is so cool as well, though. But for me, the Snowcat is the one. If you could only have one, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
things make a lot more sense when it's a dedicated snow half track, because it's got snow plows in the front and ski pedos. They didn't do anything with those two aspects with the Tiger Cat.
I love an environment. I love an environment. I mean, technically everything happens in an environment, but snow speaks to me, and so does the desert. Yeah. There's just
cozy factor to the max.
Yeah,
when you're dealing with a snow environment.
But this is all to do with being young, or certainly in the UK, and it's why we all like The Empire Strikes Back, and it's why we liked AT-AT's snow. It starts with snow just being this thing that really doesn't happen that often, and when it does, there's no school. Everyone acts differently. Everything shuts down, and play happens. Basically, snow days. Everyone just goes wild. You meet people on the street that you didn't even know lived in that house because everyone's just out having fun, sledding. Snow just gets your imagination going crazy. This will blow your mind. We used to
to a Southern Hemisphere boy, you might as well be describing life on the moon.
Yeah,
this does not check.
So if the weatherman said that there was potential for snow happening, we would. This is so bizarre.
Do a seance.
We had dinner placemats that were Empire Strike Back themed. So these would have been little plastic things that you would put on the dinner table and then put your plate on. We would pin them up on our windows to the street and think that was some like calling the snow. The AT-AT would be ready. Everything would be ready. And it's just stayed with me. So any snow issue of G.I. Joe is just up there for me. Or any snow figure, anything. I was just so into it.
Well, the Southern Hemisphere boy had to resort to just pulling all the white linen out of the cupboard and laying it down all over the floor. And
okay, but did you give it some?
Oh, of course, you'd make terrain.
Yeah,
but in order to create a whiteout, we would just squint our eyes and make the sound effect.
Ooh, let's talk about the storm and the whiteout in this and how it's been drawn. So, what's the most chaotic page? There's one page where if you're not... I think it's this one. So, if you're not into this style, this is a problem. Because it almost looks like a toddler has just scribbled over the entire page. I think I texted you and I said, I love the artwork in this so much. He's drawn snowballs like we did in play school, just round blobs. But then he's
what is an artist to do?
And but then he's not left it. He probably did that first and was like, this looks a bit weird. And then he's like, I need chaos, and he's just scribbled. But I think it works. Like,
I don't think there's any other way to do it, Ben.
No,
by scribbled, you mean he's done these kind of vertical lines?
Yeah, like sleet, I guess, like just carnage.
It's a mixture between like
when you squint
snow
your
that's
eyes,
clumped up in the air as it's falling, to make those balls, and then like faster falling icicles. I don't know.
Dude, no one's drawing that today like that.
No, fair enough.
Trust me, they're not, because I don't think that's going to make it past. Like, they'll be like, it's too much, dude. You can't see anything. Whereas I liked the hecticness of it. And in my head, reading this book, I just had swirling wind, in my head. You can feel it.
Yeah, because you certainly can't see it. I mean, the whiteout condition of it is absolutely made clear by how hectic it is. Yeah. And this left a big impression on a childhood Steve, let me tell you.
Oh, wow. And just the moments of almost the sort of the calm between
skirmishes.
It's just fantastic. Where they just dig in. Well, there's one bit where like the snowcat's out of control, and you're right. We've got Snowjob giving me Roger Moore vibes here when he's off to do his little mission that you see on the front cover. Off he goes. He's just not intimidated. He's going into the frozen tundra there. But that's his vibe. And Toxo
I'm curious. Snowjob is able to get up some serious speed, but presumably he's on a flat piece of terrain.
Yeah,
like that's the thing that.
Yeah, no.
He's shown in full flight at one point, and you're like, where did he catch a bit of downhill? It's not like this is taking place on a mountainside.
Where is it where they're scrambling out of the wolf? Oh, there, right there.
Right on the screen, baby.
Yeah, Toxo Viper in that one, yeah? Or was that the Techno?
There was only one Techno Viper, and he was the overall commander. He gets taken out early doors, and the rest are all Toxo Vipers.
I love that orange panel there. Fantastic.
Yeah. Just thunk.
Yeah. Ooh. Thunk. Uh-oh. And then all of a sudden, we just get escalation. It's like Toxo Viper thinks he's coming back a hero. We get a Terradrome out of nowhere.
So this is like an icebreaker ship, or more specifically, like a submarine. There's a 1968 film called Ice Station Zebra. It was the first time I ever saw like a submarine crack up through the ice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what Trimpy is evoking on this panel. I suppose it was scripted by Larry, but basically this is what galvanized what I thought a Terradrome was. I thought Terradromes were like the Technodrome, i.e. it dwelt underground and could kind of push up through the ground or the ice. I thought Terradromes were all these subterranean bases, but no, it was just this kind of icebreaker Terradrome. And what a monolithic thing it is. It upscales it, obviously. It's big enough to kind of have these wolves drive up the ramp. But
yeah, I was sort of happy for them. I was happy
that
they
Cobra guys
to
won
base. And then it's like, well, hang on, have we miscounted the skis? So there's one more ski missile here, and it does devastation. I mean, it's packing some serious punch because it blows it up
completely without mercy. The entire Terradrome goes up from one ski pedo.
I felt for those two souls.
All of those souls. It's like the Death Star, man. Like,
but
janitors with it,
I've just watched Clerks actually last night, dude. And all of those contractors. God.
Damn,
I'm doing a Kevin Smith watch. But yeah,
one man's freedom fighter, another man's terrorist. Those rebels were.
He says in one of the bubbles, perhaps this is going to get me out of the leaky soup brigade, doesn't he?
He absolutely does.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, come on.
Dead. The only good Cobra's a dead Cobra.
Hey,
clearly.
Now, we have not even touched upon the Russians, October Guard.
Yes.
Because that's kind of, they play a big part in this book. I love their convoy. It's
so cool. And it's just
cool.
the three key ones, to be honest. It's Brekov, it's Dana, and it's Horosho. We've lost Schrage and Stormarvik, guys who were introduced in issue 6, but they're kind of on nothing burgers compared to the other 3.
Do you want to have a go at reading the best bubble in the book, where
the most wordy?
It's just relentless.
Well, buddy, since I grew up on this book, like, this is why I'm so highfalutin. Like, I tend to talk a lot and try and like punch above my weight by using big words and shit. Well, I blame Larry Hama for everything.
Okay, yeah, they have a nice way with each other, the Joes and October Guard in this book. Is there a mutual respect there somewhere?
Oh, of course. I mean, they come up against one another frequently, and sometimes they're antagonistic, and sometimes friends of convenience or allies of convenience. This was the first issue that I ever read with the October Guard, and that gave me the first idea of the fact that there can be a third faction. That it's not always Joe versus Cobra all the time. Yes. You've got political forces in play as well, that sometimes their goals align, most times they don't. So you've got this uneasy truce at times. Which panel are you talking about? I'm
talking about the just relentless capitalist dogs, lackeys.
Aha! It is the GI Joe team, the running dog lackeys of the capitalist military industrial plutocrats and the instruments of their interventionist adventurous policies to exploit the freedom-loving peoples of the world. Boy,
dude, that's like the beginning of a Bond film.
Shit.
That's fantastic.
Breckhoff, man, he missed his calling. He shouldn't be in the field. He should be in the Politburo.
They've got this. It's not that technological, but the Snowcat looks relatively advanced, and they're in this kind of old column of steel beasts. I just love the visual. Yeah. And is there there's confusion? Yeah, because why are the Joes just sort of monitoring the airspace? Like,
well, they're concerned about this column of Russian armor, or whatever you'd call them, troop carriers. But they seem to be staying on their side of the border. But as is pointed out, like, when it's a shifting piece of ice, in the Bering Strait, there's no real way of determining where the border lies. So I suppose it's an area that's just frequently patrolled. I mean, this is the landmass over which, like, Russian Bear, like, nuclear capable bombers would be flying. And American F-15s would be taking a little closer look. Like, this is very disputed airspace and land space.
Just taking a closer look at the Wolf, some nice decals there. I think the skis, there's no wonder they mention vehicle repair in the file card, because I just think the brackets and the metal used there, how is he going to take those shocks? I'm not convinced that the Wolf would be up to much in the real world setting for me, S-Jubs, with those skis.
Oh, you're
going to be welding those constantly. No wonder they bring up vehicle repair. Because, they're not in the cockpit. They're outside fixing the skis. The rod is broken again. Bad engineering.
Wolf is an acronym. The word Wolf stands for Winter Operational Light Fighting Vehicle. So they are not armored at all. They are held together by Scotch tape and good intentions. Once again, typical Cobra design. These are the guys that brought you the Fang helicopter. Well, now they've got the Cobra Wolf.
Like, pound for pound, on flat, decent powder, I'm sure very, very fast. And probably way faster than the Snowcat.
Buddy, those are jet engines.
Yeah.
Those are the intakes, and out the back come rocket blasts. I can show you the box art one more time.
Please. I'm so curious by this vehicle that no one had for some reason in my friendship group.
Now, that is one big-ass exhaust just blasting fire.
Yeah, wow. Yes.
Love a dramatic box art. And
any
I would
foot
have
pegs
the
on
toy.
that right
Yes.
side?
So foot pegs on the kind of the ski runner boards. I wish this Live the Adventure wasn't there, but this is 3D Joe's, man. Whatever Carson has to hand is what we get. My box is pristine, and it says Action Force at the top, not GI Joe. Yeah, baby. Not only does it have 2 foot pegs it has 3 foot pegs where the Techno Viper's hanging off, and then the ski itself has a further 2 foot pegs, and that ski is removable.
It's really cool, this
let's
toy.
Let's see. There's a great... There we go. 3D Joe's has very thoughtfully given us an image of a snow serpent riding the included... He's riding it like a snowboard.
Oh my goodness, dude. I'll pass out if I look at that fig. It's all time for me. Seriously. It's amazing.
Now, the blueprints also... they demonstrate a snow serpent riding the ski as like a snowboard.
So cool. View to a kill. Roger.
But James, I need you.
He takes
England.
The ski from the sort of skidoo thing.
Yeah.
Goes across the lake. I didn't think it got cooler than that as a kid. I possibly still don't. That is a great shot of it just loaded up like that.
That's how it should be. Oh man. There's a vintage toy store. There's a vintage toy store at the mall down the road from where I'm staying, and they've got a loose Ice Viper, which I think I might just pick up for 20 Australian dollars. Missing the helmet, but I see in this tasty photograph the second Ice Viper doesn't have a helmet anyway.
So the way it's drawn in this book, what I actually prefer it in the toy. That cockpit is way more like sort of vertical and staggered than on the front cover. They sort of almost feel like they're just directly behind each other, but that second dude is way above him.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's a great use of space. And how does that cockpit open? You've got two separate cockpit canopies.
The hinges are to the back, so above the occupant's head. Mm-hmm.
So and then
there's a sticker that has like a kind of a door handle.
Yeah, but no partition between them.
Yeah, there's a partition between them, but once again, there's a gap.
Yeah,
there's a gap in there that.
What you're learning about me is that it's very important that they can pass each other a Snickers or a Mars bar or something. Yep. I'm thinking
there's definitely a knack to getting the front occupant in and the hatch closed, but it can be done with the helmet.
So is that just a lovely blue tint on there as well?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that is great shout, isn't it?
Once again, just coded as a good guy vehicle with that blue, but I'm glad they didn't make it Cobra Red, like a
I am so
Night Raven
glad,
or a Sea Ray,
or just grey, because I just think of ice and the environment that they're in. Those snow.
What is absent on the classic Cobra Wolf, and something that I'm glad they did in this book, is they gave it like unit markings, or not unit markings, like they gave it each individual wolf has its own like number,
right?
Which is important. As a child, if you are absolutely like an accountant with this shit, you can tell which wolf gets taken out in which sequence.
Yes,
and numbered 1 to 5, and you know the first one, the lead one, which is Wolf 3, gets taken out first. Then Wolf 4 peels off. They get taken out. And so it happens in sequence. And so that also built my excitement for like just how much detail goes into these books. Not all comic books are created equal. And issue 20 of GI Joe Special Missions has like the most magnificent attention to detail.
It does. I sort of started getting... I was like... Can we expect more of this from Special Missions? I think you do get the detail in Special Missions, and you get a slightly different balance between zany and real world. But this, whatever this is my sweet spot. I'll tell you that.
I'm so glad we agree. I mean, for me, it was a childhood classic. For you, it's something that you encountered recently. I mean, Ben, when was the first time you read this?
I don't know. This is it. This is what I was trying to get nostalgic about it, and I was struggling. Yeah.
Well, if you encountered it as an adult and you're as enthusiastic about it as I am, having had the childhood that I had, like that just speaks to how good this book is.
If I was to ever dabble with fan fiction or I often think about film ideas for Geo, it would be something like this.
Yes.
Is what would come out of my head. So
let me guess, like what is motivating you is not just the setting, but the fact that like there's a strict adherence to the rules of the game.
Yeah.
The rules, the physics of the vehicles, their stats. The Russian vehicle has all the armament, but it's half as fast as the Wolves.
They're putting the tarps over the vents to like hide heat signatures and stuff.
Piling snow on it.
Wild.
It's cat and mouse game in the total whiteout conditions.
And also a really good page count, 30 pages. I was going to say, like, it really had a good sense of time, and it was a thrilling read. And
that's a lot of pages. Do they vary that much? I never bothered to count pages, but wow.
Yeah, 30.
You're not including any ads?
Next issue. Well, I mean, it just says, I don't know how many pages of actual comic, but yeah, 30 here. It's a great GI Joe story.
Need we say more?
I could reread that every day. I think Special Missions is so good. I'm so glad that we have that. You know, these 28. I know that 2 of them are sort of connected to A-Rod, but for the most part, just dropped into a mission with a small team and a neat little story, a little vignette. I love it. Now,
and some focus for some minor players.
Exactly.
Snowjob might be B tier. Frostbite, B, I'm going to say C tier. But to take a Battle Force 2000 rando like Avalanche and stick him in there.
Yeah.
Genius. Love that.
It's great. Every time he has dialogue, you're like, okay, I forget he's there. He is there.
He's BF2K. He's meant to be dealing with advanced weapon systems.
Okay,
he's the guy doing all the heat imagery. He's the guy
panel
on screens.
Where's his best panel? Where is he looking
at weapon systems?
Yeah. Where is he? Avalanche. Look,
he's got this lovely panel when he's like basically manhandling Snowjob at one point.
He's the essence of a peg warmer.
Mm-hmm. And yet we both had him, so
I've got him. He's up there. I put a fresh O-ring in him.
You'd best do that. They got him up there.
Look, let's put him full screen. I can't find him.
Look, mate, I love this one when he's like, he looks like he's like wanting to hug.
There's a lot going on with his headgear.
Yeah,
his clear visor. Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting his file card up. Can we do that in real time?
We absolutely can. We absolutely shall.
Yeah.
But yeah, clear visor. Wish the toy had that. I know it would have been another easily lost piece.
Yeah.
But it's such a value add. I just think of Blocker, which is also a Nothing Burger figure, but certain versions of Blocker, the earlier release, had a clear visor.
I'm just noticing now, the windscreen wiper on the Snowcat. Firstly, that's just awesome that's there on the toy. But it looks just like the when I was in Los Angeles, I saw a lot of the Cybertruck.
Oh, gross.
And the Cybertruck has a very similar windscreen wiper to the Snowcat. I wonder...
One big...
Yeah, just a monster of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, that thing... I'm sure there's one panel where I feel like there's motion and they have... So, you know, that it's actually going. Because it would be going like crazy.
Ben, I can't jockey 2 images at once. You want to talk about Avalanche or not?
I do want to talk about Avalanche. There he is. Woof. That's
Thank
a lovely
you once again,
blister.
3D Joes.
I tell you what, dude. I'm not getting memories of that card.
No. When it came to the US... Oh, sorry. When it came to the UK, it was a different card. It was GI Joe, the Action Force, and I think maybe it was with they did away with the blue. It was on the standard.
I don't know that blue at all.
Yeah, they took off the Battle Force 2000 because this was in 1990, and I think Battle Force 2000, the whole concept had been abandoned. They just folded it into the regular wave. These guys weren't put on a pedestal for international release.
Which is the dude that looks like Hicks? I liked him.
Dodger.
He was just my Hicks.
Now, for a dude who's like into like apparently next gen technology, his file card reads like he's some sort of scumbag because he comes from a family of like bootleggers and poachers.
What?
And yeah, and his claim to fame is that like I think there was a training exercise where they're given. Oh yeah, here it is in the file card. As part of a survival exercise, Avalanche and 20 other trainees were left in the wilds with a knife and a compass apiece. Most of the others staggered in, haggard and worn after a week. They found Avalanche a month later and 200 miles away, lounging in a motel and spending the money he had made from furs he brought in. So like, he's a straight up criminal.
I am not playing with Avalanche with that character.
No.
At
Way
all.
too much character for the figure that we got. Like, he looks like a dweeb, but...
yeah, he was more geeky for me.
He should be like Recondo, basically. Like survival supreme.
I do like that little story. What, he went out and bought some pelts? Like, what?
It's wasted on this guy, but yeah, it's a cool story. No, he hunted with nothing, like a combat knife. And a compass.
Right, okay. He went all Revenant on us.
Yeah, brought the pelts in, made some bucks, and was living it up in a motel. I mean, like, I bet the MPs loved kicking down his door.
Yeah, you're right. It's Special Missions is a great opportunity to put someone like him in there. I mean, it is so random, you know?
Baby
I feel
poop.
like they... You know, what did you think they were doing? They sat down, they had everyone in, and they were like, should we just chuck someone else in the cockpit? I mean, we could do. Why not?
I really think that Larry was paying attention at that point. He was writing the file cards, so in the back of his head, he was like, these BF2K guys, there's one dude who's a snow guy. He's out of step with the rest of the team because he's the only snow guy. Let's put him in the snowcat. Let's make him the techie, the guy running the screens.
Yeah. This is a great... This double page here, there's a nice synergy with the wide panels of that plane
loved
coming
drawing
in.
planes. He was an aviator himself, and he has such a filmic way with the pushing in. Like,
yeah, that's it.
It's building the chronology.
From reading contemporary comics now, I'm noticing things like
to have a fixed camera angle, like he has.
You're not seeing that because I think someone would say. You've got 3 panels that are the same there.
Yeah.
Effectively.
And yet each one is drawn, because this was a pre-digital age, he drew the C-130 3 times.
And flicking through now, you've got this clear distinction before the storm and after the storm. You've got these lovely yellows. You know when the sky goes a funky color before snow? It's so unusual, but that yellow sort of captures it. It's great.
Oh, well, let's shout out the colorist. Was it Nel Yomtov?
Manual release canopy handles. Decals. Do you know what, S-Jubs? That job went to my brother, who was 5 years older than me, so was very much into me. Yeah, Gav. When I'd get my vehicles, he was very much into the blueprints, and he was like, Ben, you have to keep all this stuff. It's so cool. And I've told you, his love for an engine cover. But even though they were mine, I could not be trusted with stickers. And he would take care of that part of, so my sticker placement was always incredible because I wasn't allowed to do it. But
I sense I might be the same with my kid. I don't know when the training wheels will come off in terms of like me letting him do it all.
That is a very
my older brother also took on the stickering.
Yeah.
Oh, and at one point my father did as well. Here's a true story. My wolf was stickered by my dad, who took a rather, shall we say, creative choice with the sticker placement.
No.
But there's a happy ending to this. Because I was an adult when I looked through the blueprints and I took my childhood wolf and I was like, hang on. That thing that's on top of the canopy is supposed to be the screen on the guy's like cockpit display. Like, why is it on the glass? And why are these things inside the jet engines? They should be on the little lip below the jet. Like, so I was able to peel and reapply each one.
Okay, lovely.
Incredible that the adhesive was still able to do that.
What do you think? Something happens psychologically. So the moment you have the toy and then you have the application of the stickers, that's when it's locked in, isn't it? And it's yours and it's unique-ish to you. There's just something about the process and
very
how awesome...
rare to have, even if you have like total OCD imperfection, it's very rare to have two vehicles stick it the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Slight angle differences. Like, do you put it in the middle of a panel? Do you put it slightly higher, lower, left or right, centered, off center?
It's like, this isn't ready to be played with yet. I have to do this whole thing. It's really fun. I don't know if I can say that that's a process that is lost. I can't think of anything that Scout had. Like, it's not, you don't have that with Transformers.
Toys aren't made that way anymore.
No.
Huge costs were cut with the vehicles by making them model kits. They came on sprues, Ben. We were entrusted to make our toys.
Yeah.
They don't trust kids to do that nowadays.
But something happens in that process of doing that. It's like you're linked, Before you put the stickers on, it could sort of go anywhere, and it's like, no, this is mine now. Maybe that sticker's just on the wonk ever so slightly, and you're like, damn. But maybe you don't fix it, and it's just forever like that, and that's great.
For the longest time, I had. So the Cobra Bug has a yellow Cobra symbol, sort of in a yellow roundel, and it's got a clear one.
Okay.
And I had those mixed up. The clear one should be on the yellow hatch.
Yeah, okay, so just a decal, so just the red.
Well, the Cobra symbol in red, but the circle is either yellow or clear. And I had the clear one on the sort of the bubble, the pod, the little mini sub, the 2-man mini sub.
Right.
And as an adult, I realized, hang on, it should be the other way around. Why am I putting a yellow backed sticker on a yellow thing? The clear one should be on the yellow offers a color break for the turquoise or green mini sub.
Dude,
so once again, I was able to swap them over. Bit of dirt on the underside because it had been played with, but that's all right.
Some of the sticker sheets were vast. Like, I sort of almost have memories of like, I feel like we've got some left over here. Where are they going?
My USS Flag only had its stickers partially applied. When I got it in the mail, I had some stickering to do.
Wow.
Nothing like 30-year-old stickers to put on a 30-year-old piece of plastic.
Yeah.
Lots
stickers.
of gack.
The kid in me, I love stickers, S-Jumps. I'm always buying stickers. I've got a wall, and it's a journey that I'm going on where I want to sticker the whole wall with, 80s IPs. Most of them I'm getting tattooed, it would seem.
Then I kind of wish that you had the joy of like a virgin GI Joe vehicle and some repro labels. They do very high quality ones now.
I bet they do.
Rattler repros or toy hacks. You can get, and they even do custom sheets, so you can make it your own with some new radar screens and things. Funky stuff.
Something that I was really drawn to was anything that was different from the GI Joe logo and the Cobra logo. So anything like this vehicle that has the wolf decal,
the wolf symbol.
Any vehicle that had even the Tiger Force logo. I was always drawn to logos. I don't know if it's the designer in me or just anything that gave something personality. And I'm going to look up a nice high res version of this wolf logo because it looks amazing.
It's pretty good.
I bet that was a nice decal.
Oh yes, set in that perfect blue.
Oh, don't tempt me to get a tattoo of that. It's a tasty decal. Great.
I'd say it's even it's better than the Snowcat one. Snowcat, it's kind of it's chibi like Outback Tiger Force version's shirt, but this wolf is vicious as. But it also kind of looks cartoony, like you would find on a B-52, B-17.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of looks like it's been drawn by a cartoonist.
And then you'd get those kind of stickers, but then you'd also get the payload stickers of like what the missiles were, or like some numbers.
I'm always fond of like Cobra's unique font, and that an interesting way of doing serial numbers, like certain letters or
I was going to say it almost looks like the Imperial alphabet.
True, or like Orabesh. Yeah. I mean, the best examples are like on the Moray, I think. They got some good stickers. Like the wolf stickers are pretty conventional. But,
I'm getting this toy.
Oh,
I don't know if I'm going to have it by next show, but I'm getting it.
It's a good one. I've got one, and I know Rob's never going to listen to this, but I've got one in my bag going back to Cape Town. Because I got my childhood one, and I don't need a second one, but it's destined for Rob, I'm afraid, my brother.
I was about to say, you need 2 of these things.
You need 5, according to this book.
You do, and you need them all to have tarps that come off one after another. Like, shush.
But Ben, we've spoken about this before, man. Like, army building is all very fine and well, but you only have 2 hands.
That's true.
They're best used manipulating one vehicle.
But not always coming from a photography point of view. My eyes were my cameras, so I did like to do setups. You know, the visual of having 5 with some makeshift. I would have probably maybe cut into some linen, some bed linen or something, and like try to recreate a tarp over each one. You know I like vehicles dug in, S-Jubs.
Taking me back to our Benelux chat, there was a spread with 2 Cobra Wolves. Shockwave and Avalanche.
Remind me of the image. What like a showstopper piece of photography with the wolf.
It's a subtle one.
Yeah, not
Shockwave and Avalanche kind of in the foreground, hiding behind like an ice wall.
Can we get it up?
2 wolves.
How do we get it time.
I
know. It's difficult for you.
I don't think I have those images saved.
I don't remember that being because some of those are just like all-timers.
Yeah, no, this was a subtle one.
Yeah, because if it's not seared into my brain.
But let me just say to the listeners or viewers, I will put a link to that video in the description. It's a worthwhile chat to check out. The 2 Joburg boys, Paul and Steve, and the 2 Talking Joe boys, Ben and Chief.
Yes.
Chatting about the legendary Benelux catalog.
We were trying to book that show in for over 12 months. We were trying to book that show in to do it.
Getting you know what? If you can just chew the air for a sec, I don't even need to get it digitally. I can get the real thing.
Oh, wow. The actual catalogue. Incredible scenes happening here.
Yeah, you've got the actual book to hand. I've got a paper of a different kind.
Okay.
The Benny Catalogue, courtesy of Mauler Joe, who... absolute legend in the Joe game.
A lot of
he customizes, he builds his own toys.
Community.
Good folder to keep catalogs in.
Yeah.
All right, great. There it is. Benelux catalog 1990, and the spread that I want to show you.
And are you saying it just features in one photo?
Just the one, but it's a big old spread.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's a fun setup.
Shockwave and his best pal Avalanche. Just ducking out of the way of a convoy, a patrol of wolves.
Were you kind of, because you were feeding all of your play was coming from this issue, were you loading up that second seat with a Techno or a Toxo?
Oh, my Toxo's O-ring snapped early on, and
what?
Being an idiot child,
He's not a Stretch Armstrong.
Buddy,
what are you doing?
Probably doing the Masters of the Universe twist and let it fly maneuver. Because my Toxo Viper was a very early figure for me, anyway. And so this is how idiotic I was as a youth. When the O-ring snapped, I thought this is a broken toy, could never be rehabilitated. It went in the bin.
Wow!
Into the bin. I will never forgive myself for that. But this is my childhood Toxo Viper's helmet. Mm-hmm. And now it sees new life on
Ah, brilliant.
Another Toxo Viper's body. So there's a piece of that figure that's still with me. Oh, and this is his original gun. Love how the plastic gets furry in the grips. It's played with accessory when it looks like that.
We said this when a Toxo Viper popped up in a previous issue that we've covered. How is the Toxo Viper getting in that seat? It just doesn't, Techno Viper, I get it. Toxo Viper, I don't get it.
Well, they make him look pretty svelte. Like the helmet is kind of downsized in the book. If you notice, like Trimpy has a way of streamlining the characters, and boy, does he draw the shit out of them. And now Yomtov's colors are also on point. Like they've managed to pick the exact palette of the Toxo Viper. It's the right purple, it's the right green, it's the right brown, it's the right yellow.
Yeah. You can just imagine being in there as well. I mean, I'm not saying that is comfortable. It's a tough life, man, as a Toxo Viper.
But if you're talking about their uses, there are many. If you're a hostile environment trooper, I guess, but if you take it in a broad sense, snow is a pretty hostile environment. I guess the suits are heated in some ways.
Yeah. What I like is every dialogue from a Toxo Viper, they always seem to get in there that they're not necessarily happy being a Toxo Viper. Like this guy is like, maybe I'll get transferred out. No one wants to be one. It's like, you're always looking to take another role. Man, we end up talking about Toxo Vipers a lot.
Well, I'm playing to my audience here because you are a big fan of the figure, so I know how to hit you in a sweet spot.
I was listening to the commentary of The Batman, the newest Batman film.
Sure.
And he was making the point of, if you just have Batman in that suit, however cool and real world they make that suit, but if you just have him in a room with the lights on, everyone is laughing at what that looks like, that visual, But what I love about A-Ra is that, like, they are just the toys on page. There's no effort to, like, if you wanted to, you could put the Toxo Viper in such, like, harsh lighting, and you could have him look really intimidating, really scary, but everything is always just bold. This is what you're getting. This is the toy. Do you know what I mean? I sort of really appreciate how the vibrancy of these old books, the toys look like the toys. They're not trying to make them like seem super cool by,
It's a very artful way that Larry's able to take a plaything and elevate it to make a story as compelling as an issue like this, and so many others. They didn't ever shy away from the source material.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get to.
But it's damn, like, they pulled the rest of us up. A 7-year-old S-Jubs reading this book. Boy, oh boy, did I come away with some amazing words.
Let's just touch on this quickly. So how did you get this book? How old were you?
This must have been, once again, the Corner Cafe shall provide. If there was GI Joe on the newsstand, boy,
why would
I couldn't buy it any faster. Why would I walk away with a Captain America book on Iron Man or Batman if there was a GI Joe book?
Yeah, but how would they have had this? How?
Just the randomness of living in the third world, pal.
Okay.
Like, it was an absolute crapshoot. Yeah. We got back
Joe
issues
was
from
random.
Yeah, pretty much.
Think about the people that are ordering these lines in at the local toy shop in my village or town. It wasn't just neat, like, this is the latest season. There they are. It was chaos.
Yeah.
It was different figures from different...
Well, we are bringing the international perspective, Ben. We can't overlook the fact that, like, we are not speaking from the experience of domestic US. Like, imagine, like, having the release schedule these figures and having to act within that window. Like, I was picking these up in the 90s. Like, it was the shotgun approach. Imagine if it was like, it's in Toys R Us, it'll be phased out in a couple of months, if not a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That was your window. Like, Yeah,
I know. I've told this on
I'm grateful for the story that I can tell, that these things stayed with us for a long time.
I've told this on many GI Joe podcasts, but I was so into it at one point, so into it from a collecting point of view and a completist point of view, that when lines dropped, I would want to collect the entire line. And I just worked really hard to finish. I can't remember what series it would have been, but I was at a toy shop and I got the new pamphlet, and it was a new season. And it felt so daunting. This is weird for a kid to be thinking this, because this is more like what adult collectors get when they get FOMO and they want to complete. And I was sat at McDonald's and I started crying because I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by this pamphlet that had opened up. I was like, new vehicles. I was like, this is a job. And my mum was confused. My brother was confused. They were like, isn't this good? I was like, I've just worked so hard to complete. What did I want? Did I want it just to end? And...
well, you got your wish, I guess.
Yeah.
Unlike Lego, unlike Barbie, unlike so many other sort of evergreen lines, classic O-ring GI Joe has an end point. And as an adult collector, I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
I feel sorry for... well, not sorry. I mean, feeling sorry or feeling any kind of pity for a toy collector, it's thin ice to be walking on. It's not that. But I'm definitely not ungrateful for the fact that, like, I have this closed list to my collection. Like, people who are in the trenches currently collecting classified, my heart goes out to them. And yeah, it's
hundreds of potential figures.
You can spin out of that so quickly. And then there's third-party products that add to that mix. Like, there are a lot of 6-inch lines out there that would work well with GI Joe, and you were in a toy buying tailspin.
You're essentially a toy historian, so I just want to work out what my tiers were for. So I know that the line that made me cry was Stalker version 2.
Yeah, 1989. So I'm thinking you just completed the wave that had Toxa Viper.
Yeah, that's it.
Had Techno Viper, Battle Armor Cobra Commander.
Yeah,
looking on my wall. Big Bo was in that wave. So this was the 1990 wave in the UK. Raptor was in that wave.
Crocmaster.
Hydra Viper. Falcon.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. I finished it. I just finished it.
Did you get all the Tiger Force guys as well? So Outback. Psych Out.
I don't have them all now, but I had them all. Yeah.
Okay, so you did it.
I did it. Portugal.
Then in the UK was the 1991 line, and that was the one with Alley Viper, Stalker, Rock and Roll, Scoop.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes version 3.
Yeah, it was a bit... yeah, there was a lot of exciting different versions. Yeah. And
did you get Mutt and Junkyard and sort of the grey, dark grey?
100%.
Those were European exclusives.
He's a pricey figure. I was about to say, he is a pricey one.
Lowlight with his Slaughters Marauders coloring. I believe there's a slight variation. He's not quite the same color as the Slaughters Marauders version.
Cool
but
figure.
I mean,
I have to say, you're reeling off these figures. I mean, look, I dried my eyes and I got on it sharpish because I really got stuck into that. I mean,
even motherfucking DJ.
Yeah, very much so.
Gross. Yes, all right, Ben. Let's put a pin in it, dude. We could talk all day.
Put a pin, but I could stay here all day.
I know, man.
This is my cozy cockpit canopy. Okay. Well, look,
I'll be your front seat guy anytime.
There's another episode next week, but we are getting deep into Christmas. I think, dude, we don't have to do any weird recording. I think we can just go all through the Christmas season. Well, I know I can, but I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for you, buddy.
Have laptop, will travel. I'm no stranger to broadcasting on the road, but we'll see. I mean, here we go. Let's roll the dice. I'm about to get on a plane with a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. That's fun.
Oh my days. Well, look, to everyone out there, if you haven't got this, try and read this week because it is pure pleasure town. Just let your imagination go buck wild. It's a great, great read. I've been BenFlyingRetro. As always, you can find me over on Instagram. You can listen to people who play over on Substack. And that's about where you can find me. Eating a mince
And I'm
pie.
SJub7, and you can find me right here at GI Joburg.
Yeah. Well, happy trails, buddy.
Thank you, dude. Check you on the other side.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe.
Yo, Joe.